Can you talk a little bit about the advantage of using a private asset trust for a real estate investor who's going to buy multiple properties and buy them and or flip them or sell them or keep some? How does the private asset trust become a better solution than, say, an LLC or a living trust?
Well, first of all, a LLC or a corporation is only legally valid in one state at a time. So you might get away with it, and it might work out okay if you live in one state and have a trust from another or a LLC from another state. But if the state finds out, they can charge you double fees and double penalties. And if you threaten to shut it down, they can even tell you that, well, actually, you committed a crime and it's tax evasion if you don't take and pay those fees. As they're getting more interconnected state to state, this is becoming more of a revenue chasing event than it ever was in the past. Also, they make their own rules. You're only existing because of the permission of the state, and they pass roughly 700 laws a year, of which that can really mess you up as to stuff you don't realize that they changed. The idea of having a private asset protection trust is that it's valid everywhere, even in other countries. So that makes a difference. The other big issue that you mentioned is because you're doing, most people that we're talking to are doing multiple properties or even just have multiple assets. I mean, if you just had a stock account and 2 cars and a bank account and a house and possibly a coin collection or a lot of furniture, especially if you have a business, it'd be nice to have separation between those. And having separation between those could be critical, because if your business gets sued or one of your friends borrows your car and goes out and hits a tree or a light pole, it takes out the power for 1,500 houses, you are liable to pay for that. And that means every asset you have. And if you have all those assets in the same entity, such as yourself, of course, or an LLC or a corporation or even a trust, if they're all in the same trust or organization, everything's at risk. You better defend that successfully or you could lose it all. The same thing goes if you have a health problem. Most people at the end of their life have very high medical bills, a lot of times being denied by Obamacare or one of the other insurance companies that don't want to pay. And consequently, the excess falls on you. My brother ended up having to pay $500,000 a week for the last 6 weeks he was alive. And yet when he died, they couldn't get it from him because we had protected him. They couldn't get it from my mom, which they normally can. They can get it from your parents or your children, your medical bills, or they even tried to get it from brothers and sisters. So the idea, what we do is we put, not only do we put it into a private asset protection trust, but we separate them into separate ones. So instead of having a document that's 100 pages long, our documents are typically 10 or so pages long, and they're only talking about one asset at a time. So your 4 investments are in 4 separate trusts, and it'd be easy to manage any one of them because I mean, they all operate the same. They all do the same exact thing. It's just even though somebody knows you own 4 properties and somebody gets pushed off the porch on one of them, they can certainly sue that one trust, but they have no logical reason or ability to penetrate the next door rental that you also own, that they see you collect the rents on. Even though you might put all those rents into the same bank account, they have no way whatsoever to penetrate other trusts, including, of course, your house or your metals account or your bank account or anything. And they don't even know what your other assets are because that's not something that the court would allow them to discover, since they have no bearing on what's going on. There happens to be another super benefit that nobody realized at first, and we quickly exploited, and that is the fact that since each one of your properties are in separate ownership, you can sell the property or trade it, exchange it, do whatever you want, or you could trade the entity or sell the entity, which means no capital gains whatsoever, no change in property taxes, no recording a new deed, no worries about the way they're going to change the estate taxes, which they do quite often over the years. So that benefit is extreme. In fact, we do about 5 or so cars per week where we save as much as $2,500 per car because there's no sales transfer tax, there's no loss of the license plates already on the vehicle. There's no standing in line at the DMV for 3 hours, if you can even get an appointment today. Yeah, so you don't have to even go to any of the agencies to re-record the title, since the title doesn't change. Either the 1313 Flower Street Trust still owns that property, you just changed managers and beneficiaries, or the same thing on the car. The 2022 Mercedes Holding Trust continues to be the owner. You just gave control and beneficial change to the people that now hold that document. You hand the document with a change in it to the new people, and they give you the cash, and everybody goes on with life. So a lot of our clients have 8 or 10, 12, 15 trusts, because each one has its own folder, and that, which you have anyway on real estate properties. You got a folder for each one. So it's just another document, like an LLC that owns it, or in this case, a trust that owns it.